Well, here's one totally outside of my wheelhouse. For the first time ever, I'm going to try to paint a shipwreck. This is the picture. This is the Point Estero shipwreck. In 2017, this fishing boat ran aground while returning to Morro Bay. Ignoring the rule of thirds, I put this boat in the middle of the painting because I didn't know where else to put it. The boat's obviously the center of interest. I wasn't really sure about the values of the boat. They seemed too dark, so I thought I'd get the sky in first to get a better idea of what the value range was going to be. And I kind of went back and forth between the sky and the boat. And as I was working on the boat, I was thinking I probably should put the water in first. So I got to that. It always seems like the darks are too dark. So here I'm just blocking in the value for the water. And some of the brown blotches are supposed to reflect that this is a very shallow area and there's sand reflected through the water. About this point, I'm thinking, how can I reflect all these different colors that were in the shallow area? There was brown from the sand and darker colors from the rocks, and there was more variation in the watercolors. There was greens and lavenders. So I worked on it quite a while. I tried to smear the brown around underneath the rocks to hopefully make it all look like it's cast shadow from the rocks. And then here I'm back to the boat trying to lighten the dark part. This is the progress. The rock up front needs to be adjusted. The area in front here is very shallow. I think that's sort of reflected here, but I need to maybe put a little more brown in this area. So here's a close-up of the water pattern. I kind of like the lower left. I like the way that's turning out. And the right-hand side is not too bad now. Then I thought I needed to add some sort of streaks of water in the shadows of the boat and doing some touch-ups on the boat. And then I thought, you know, the sky looks a little bit too uniform. The clouds weren't really three lines, so I'm trying to mix them up a little bit, get it a little bit more interesting, make the clouds be more diagonal in the middle there. And at the same time, I'm realizing the bird, it was a seagull that was on the top of this boat. It's not really noticeable because it's right over some white area. So I was moving the clouds around so I could put more blue around the bird. And also right before this, I made the boat in the front longer because it didn't look normal. The bird was tricky. I don't know why I'm using that big brush because I needed to get in there around the bird a little bit to make it stand out. I kind of messed around with the blue for a little while, hoping it would be more noticeable. Stepping back about 8 feet just to get a general view of it. And here's the final painting. When I started this painting, I wasn't really sure if it was going to work. I didn't know where I was going. I had never done anything like this before. So when I got to this part though, I was just kind of, you know, with the paintbrush, and then I got such great colors in this area. Well, then I thought it might work out after all. It's always better to see a painting up close because you really can't see the color in a photograph. But I really do like how this bottom part turned out. I think that could almost be a painting by itself. But anyway, I've really enjoyed doing something different. And in January, I started doing things that I hadn't done before. Before January, I was doing pretty much only landscapes. And in January, I started doing figures. My goal was figures and animals. And so here's one I did of my son on the beach. And that was a revelation that I could kind of branch out and do some new and interesting stuff. So that's my recommendation for you. If you are getting kind of stuck and you feel like you can't find new stuff, or you're not changing, or you're not improving, add something different. So my next project is going to be a palette knife painting, and I can't wait to see if that turns out. Thanks for watching, and give me a like, and if you're interested, subscribe. Thanks.